So with only 9 games to go in this championship season, how will the final league table shape up? Well, thanks to the algorithm over at 538, they've gone ahead and worked out the promotion and relegation odds for each championship club, and from that they've formulated a table with each club's predicted points come the end of the season. Now, during the international break, I will be doing my own version of this, of how I see the championship table finishing, but taking into consideration some underlying numbers and how they've worked out the algorithm does make for some quite interesting reading. Today we're going to be presenting that table, and without any further ado, let's jump in. And predicted to finish bottom of the championship table at the moment, we do have Huddersfield with a projected point come the end of the season of 41 points on the board. Warnock hasn't quite had the desired impact in there so far. He has shaped them up a little bit better defensively, but what teams at the bottom need more than anything is wins on the board, and they've ultimately only won 1 of the 6 matches since he's been in there. So as things stand, both with the bookies and going off underlying algorithms and things like that, Huddersfield are the favourites for relegation, and that's not taking into consideration, you know, any other off the pitch issues. In quite a similar mould to Huddersfield as well, we then have Wigan predicted to finish 23rd in the championship based on the algorithm with 42 points come the end of the season. Quite similar for Warnock in at Huddersfield, what Maloney's tried to do in at Wigan, make them more defensively solid, but as a consequence of that they've not really had the adequate quality and firepower in the final third to get enough wins on the board since Maloney's been in there. 42 points is what they're projected to finish at come the end of this season, and that definitely won't be enough to keep them up. And the final side in the relegation zone predicted to finish in there at the moment is Blackpool with a projected points of 45 come the end of the season. Now Blackpool are maybe a little bit of a wild card now after that bonkers match they had in midweek, putting 6 goals past QPR. Up until that point under McCarthy, I've not really been that impressed by them. If I'm totally honest, I don't think they've been massively playing to the strengths of what they have in that squad. But yeah, midweek against QPR was a massive flip of the script, and if they manage to get, you know, more of those performances from now until the end of the season, suddenly a few of the teams above them will start to sweat. And so just predicted to survive at the moment, we then have Rotherham, who the algorithm does place in 21st place, coming in with 48 points come the end of the season. Now when we went ahead and looked at each of the relegation candidates in a little bit more detail, we sort of came to the conclusion that to guarantee safety this season, you're probably looking at around about 50 points, high 40s at least, and it seems as if around about that point tally will just about be enough to get you over the line, and that's where it has Rotherham placed at the moment. Just above Rotherham we then have Cardiff. These have been the 5 sides most commonly associated with the sort of relegation battle throughout the season so far. They've also got them just surviving on 49 points, but these close point tallies, especially between Blackpool and Cardiff, does show how close it is expected to be come the end of the season, especially when we have a game coming up this weekend where Rotherham go up against Cardiff. It swings in points like that which could have an absolutely huge impact on this table come the end of the season. To be in 19th place, this will be a hotly debated one. The algorithm then has QPR with 52 points come the end of the season. As things stand in real life, they're currently on 42 points, so this has them to pick up 10 points in their remaining 9 matches, and going off their midweek performance, I think that will be some ask, to be honest. We thought we'd seen a little bit of a bounce out of that side after the win they had against Watford. Ainsworth's first in the job, but followed it up with that dismal display in midweek, and these next few matches especially I think will probably set the tone for QPR. If they do get a reaction from that Blackpool match, they'll probably just about get themselves over the line because of the points they already have on the board, but their form in the calendar year of 2023 has been nothing short of a disgrace really, and it is just those previous points they picked on earlier up in the season which is just about keeping their head above water. The algorithm then has Birmingham in 18th place with 53 points come the end of the season, in quite a similar situation to QPR with how they've sort of regressed as the season's gone on. What's going to be a really interesting matchup this weekend is to see how both Birmingham and QPR do fare against each other, because like we were saying with that Cardiff against Rotherham game, a 3-point swing either way, and if either side does win that one would be massive massive for boosting their survival odds. Now Reading are a little bit of a tricky one to put your finger on at the moment. Their form has massively tailed off as of late, and this algorithm isn't taking into consideration any possible sanctions which could still be coming their way. As things stand in terms of points on the board, this has them picking up 54 come the end of the season, but they may be, you know, hamstrung with point deductions and things like that still to come. Coming in 16th place, the algorithm then has Hull. I think it will be a steady end of the season for them under Rossini, and it's really about sort of gearing up for the next campaign. With a lot of these sides in mid-table at the moment, no real fears of relegation and no real chance of sneaking into the top 6 now, so going ahead and establishing that consistent style of play to then look forward to next season is where they're at the moment. Swansea have been on an awful run recently, but the algorithm actually has them picking up an extra 14 points from now until the end of the season and finishing the year in 15th place on 57 points. Now, what does go in Swansea's favour is the fact that the fixtures for them from now until the end of the season are fairly favourable by the looks of things. I think 5 of the 9 games they play are against sides currently in the bottom half of the table, and why I think Swansea have been projected to pick up their form a little bit is because the underlying numbers in the matches they've played recently have all been fairly promising. It's just been massive individual mistakes and lapses in concentration which have really been letting them down, but yeah, their form has taken an absolute nosedive in the calendar year of 2023, and Martin is under massive pressure because of that. In 14th place we then have Bristol City coming in with 59 points coming into the season based on the current algorithm, and Bristol City have seen a sort of nice general upturn in form. It was a good unbeaten run that they went on up until that Cardiff game that they had, and then from that point onwards they've sort of fluctuated a little bit more than that, but will be comfortable mid-table for Bristol City. Stoke City expected to end the season strong based on the algorithm, which has them picking up an extra 15 points in their last 9 championship matches. They've been on a fantastic run recently under Alex Neil, and it finally feels like all the pieces have sort of fallen into place there. They had that brilliant result at Sunderland and they followed that up with 2 excellent results since that, and if they do continue, you know, to build on this, maybe going into next season there's a lot more optimism at Stoke. Sunderland a couple of months ago stood a really good chance of a top 6 finish, but 4 defeats from their last 5 championship matches has sort of put an end to any of that talk. But regardless of any of that, I still think it's been a really good season for them. First year back in the championship, more than established themselves as competitive at this level, and really only did a few things I think to push them onto that next level for a proper playoff push next season. This algorithm has them bang in the middle of the table come the end of the season in 12th place. We're finally home when it comes to North End, 11th place. I've missed it. It has been the traditional place that Preston have always really finished in the championship, and the algorithm has us to finish there once again. To be honest, we have been on a good run recently. It's a tough game we've got coming up this weekend against Middlesbrough, but currently on the 3rd longest unbeaten run in the championship, and Lowe really has done some quite good work to turn things around after how toxic things were at the start of the season. But 11th place would represent a solid season for us. Now this is where we get into the proper playoff challenges in my opinion. From anyone 10th upwards in this predicted table has a really strong chance of making it into the top 6 come the end of the season. Coventry are on a fantastic run in the league at the moment, and all the point tallies around this part of the table are predicted to be extremely close, but this does have them falling short, finishing the season on 68 points, which I think would be 14 points from their last 9 matches. That does have them just falling short of the top 6, but yeah, Coventry will be there or thereabouts, I'm in no doubt. Also finishing on 68 points, the algorithm has Watford to finish 9th, and they're a bit of a wild card at the moment really, because Wilder has only just gone in there. We've only seen 2 matches under Wilder so far, 1 win and a loss. They're a tough one to put your finger on. There's certainly the quality in that side to go on a run and get them into the top 6, I'm in no doubt about that, but because of how inconsistent they've been throughout the year, it's tough to gauge whether Wilder will be able to put all those pieces together in these last 9 matches. But yeah, a bit of a wild card, Watford. Do the Baggies have enough to get over the line this season and into the top 6? Well, based off the algorithm's predictions at the moment, they're just going to fall short in 8th place, finishing on 69 points come the end of the season. Some big matches still to come for West Brom in this season, which will determine where they'll go ahead and finish. Still got some pretty tough looking games to come against the likes of Millwall, Sheffield United and Norwich. Ultimately, what will have cost West Brom a top 6 place if they do miss out would have been that sluggish start at the start of the season under Bruce, and from that point onwards they have been playing catch up. But like I said before, from this point onwards it's only going to be a matter of a couple of points, which is the difference between missing out and getting in. And as the last of the teams to miss out on the top 6, we have Norwich predicted to just fall short in 7th place. This is where they are in the table at the moment, and it really feels as if those last couple of results for them especially have really been detrimental to their top 6 hopes. Losing against Sunderland, followed up by dropping more points in midweek with that draw against Huddersfield, and after such a positive result after beating Millwall on the road as well. Like I said, it's going to be very close in and around this region of the table, but those drop points in those last 2 matches really could come back to haunt Norwich here. And so predicted to hold out for a top 6 spot, we then have Blackburn coming in with 72 points come the end of the season based on the algorithm's current predictions. They are 5th in the table in real life. They're predicted to fall back 1 place but still make it into the top 6. It is worth noting that this season Blackburn have won as many matches as Middlesbrough have. It's just been the fact that they've been so reluctant to draw games, apart from that mini period where they have withdrawn successive matches. Only 4 draws for Blackburn all season. It suited them, and they are predicted to hold on to a top 6 place as things stand. Also predicted to get over the line, we then have Millwall coming in 5th place with 75 predicted points come the end of the season. And I mean, this will be some achievement for Millwall, taking into consideration some of the sides who they've been going up against this season for a top 6 spot. I think maybe the underdog story of Luton has maybe overshadowed the miraculous work that's been going on at the Den over these last few years, because for them to be, you know, punching above their weight consistently in and around the top 6, and to actually maybe get over the line this season as well, yeah, is a real testament to the work that's going on behind the scenes there. And exactly the same can be said about Luton as well, who are predicted to finish in 4th place as things stand with 78 points come the end of the season based on the algorithm's predictions. Now, Luton are, I mean, if we're involving Middlesbrough in a top 2 race at the moment, then we've got to throw Luton's hat in the ring as well. They're only 1 point behind Middlesbrough as things stand. Obviously quite a ways to make up that gap on Sheffield United, but if they continue to drop points, Luton will definitely be there or thereabouts. And with 78 predicted points come the end of the season, yeah, I mean, that'll be some finish, won't it? We all think the top 2 is going to be a very close race this season, but as things stand, it is Middlesbrough who are predicted to finish in 3rd place with 80 points come the end of the season. I'm particularly interested to see what Middlesbrough are looking like this weekend against my side, North End. You know, Preston on a good unbeaten run at the moment, so it will be interesting to gauge their level. Obviously Borough did drop points in their midweek match against Stoke, and with Sheffield United getting back to winning ways, it just restored that lead and a bit of breathing space for Sheffield United. But Middlesbrough, they will be there or thereabouts, and if they do miss out on the top 2, no doubt will be favourites to go up by the playoffs. So predicted to hold on to that 2nd place spot, we do have Sheffield United, and I feel like midweek was quite big for Blades fans in restoring a little bit of confidence with them getting back to winning ways. Middlesbrough dropping points as well just restores that lead they've got at the top of the table in 2nd place, especially with them not in league action this weekend, and the fact that Middlesbrough will get that chance to claw a bit of ground upon them again. And to be honest, there are some quite tricky looking matches coming up for the Blades after the international break. Coming back, they've got games against Norwich, Wigan and Burnley. So those 2 against Norwich and Burnley especially going to be 2 potential banana skins there for Sheffield United. But they've got the points on the board at the moment, and it's very much their position to lose at the moment. But of course, to come in and win the Championship, the algorithm has Burnley. They've got them to finish on 100 points come the end of the season. Now, if Burnley were to maintain their current points per game from now until the end of the season, I think they'd finish the year on 103 points, but this has them to regress slightly, but still have a fantastic finish in the end, picking up 100 points, and that would solidify this Burnley side as one of the best we've ever seen in the Championship. You know, as soon as you get anywhere close to that 100-point mark, never mind hitting it, you are an all-time great in my eyes. And Burnley pretty much have already got promotion and the title wrapped up, given the lead they already have over the likes of Sheffield United and Middlesbrough, but I'm sure they'll continue to churn out the results from now until the end. But there we have it, guys. That is the current predicted Championship finished based on the 538 algorithm. I'd be interested to know from you guys, are there any league positions in there which you'd agree, disagree with? Do you think any teams would have some rapid rises or falls? Do let me know down below. But apart from that, guys, that will wrap it up for today's video. If you did go on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, do stick around and subscribe for some regular Championship content. Apart from that, I'll see you all in the next one.